C8 Pate, back at you with another video. And in today's video, we are getting ready first thing in the morning, bright and early, to go down to Indy for the, I think it's the 4th or the 5th annual Indy 3s Roundup. So that's where we're going. I'm going to take the Ryker. I'm not taking the Spider this time. I'm going to take the Ryker because it's a short ride. The Ryker hasn't really been out this season. I've been heavy, just riding the heck out of that Spider. Believe it or not, I have already put 10,000 miles on the Spider. Man, we just got the Spider last August. I have already put about 10,500 miles on that Spider already. So we're going to give it a break and we are going to put some miles on this. Hit that subscribe button for me right now. So what today's video is about, what I'm checking before I get on the road. So first and foremost, I'm going to check and I'm going to put some fluids in that radiator system. So if we look down in there, it basically looks empty, right? You see it. It looks empty. So we're going to add some fluids in there, right? I'm not going to use the BRP one. I'm going to use this one. So we're going to add fluids in there. I'm going to check all my battery connections. I'm going to check all of my battery connections to make sure nothing's loose. And if something is loose, I'm going to tighten it. All my battery connections look good. They're nice and tight and snug. Another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to check my brake fluid. And the brake fluid is right down here. You can't really see it, but I'm about to take it off and fill it. The reservoir is right down in there. You see it past that red wire right there. That's where that reservoir is. And I'm going to fill it. Make sure it's good to go because I have not filled that in probably like a year. Now, the cool thing about it on the cluster, it will tell you on the cluster, it will read it. It won't be a code. It'll tell you right on the cluster that you need to refill the brake fluid. I'm going to make sure that my bag is on nice and snug because we're going to be going up 65 riding. I want to make sure everything's good to go. I'm going to check all of my brake and turn signals. I'm going to make sure all my turn signals work. Got to make sure the turn signals work. I'm going to make sure that the brakes work. You see that? The brakes steady going on. The brakes are working just fine. I have to check the whole bike. I got to make sure that my back seat is on snug. So I'm not going to put my storage on, right? I'm going to leave my back seat because I got this storage bag to put stuff. And then I have this net where I can hold stuff too. But luckily we have a trailer going with us and somebody with a truck. So he could take our bags and I don't even have to really ride with much on the bike. Right? I usually make sure that my rear and front floorboards, I make sure both are on nice and snug. Everything's tight. I just tighten everything up on the whole darn bike. I go around the bike, I'm checking out all the lights. If it's a light, you know, an accessory light or something, I don't really need it, then I don't care about it. I can fix that when I get back. But the basic essentials of things, I'm going to make sure everything is working great. I hate this. I hate the way these sound when the bike is idling. They sound all crazy. So, you know, I put stuff in there to kind of like keep them snug so they're not all, you know, crazy sounding overall. Yeah, so I try to make sure that I keep those things nice and snug, you know, overall. So what I try to do is I want to check the shocks. I want to make sure that's all tight. Usually that's all good to go. As you guys can see, my back wheel is nowhere near that back passenger seat. I got so much room on there. Look at that ride height on that bike now. With those Elka shocks, you can lower the bike. You can, you know, make the bike higher, increase, decrease. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Another thing I'm going to check this license plate and make sure all this is nice and tight, because these screws do come off, and we've been going down the road and somebody's whole license plate falls off. There's so many extra vibrations with these bikes to where things can fall off the actual bike. I'm going to make sure that things up here are nice and good. Of course, I'm going to make sure no lights are on my cluster. If you have a check engine light on when you're leaving to go out of town, just don't even take the bike. Don't even go out of town. No check engine light. I don't even care if the bike is riding fine. You don't know. The check engine light is on for a reason. There are so many people that tell me, yes, the check engine light is on, but the bike is riding fine. Hey, don't take that bike. I don't want you to get stuck out of town. There could be something wrong. Do not take that bike out of town if you see any other weird lights going on up top and you don't understand what's going on. Go take that bike into a dealer. Do not take that bike out of town and frustrate everybody that's on your trip, because everybody's gonna be frustrated like, oh my God, we got to deal with this bike now. And if you're in a bike crew, you already know it's always the same people with the bike problems. If I'm lying, get in the comment section to tell me right now that I'm lying. I swear to God, it is always the same people that are having bike problems. Always. Accessory lights, something going on with the music. The bike is overheating. You name it, it's wrong with their bike. It's because some of these bikes are so poorly taken care of. So some of them, you have to get your oil changed every 6,000 miles. I see people with 12,000 miles on their bike and they never had an oil change. Why? I see people that have never put their radiator fluid in, ever. They've never even checked it. People that have never even checked their filters or tried to change their filters that are inside of here on each side. They won't check the filter. Won't do anything with it. I see people, some people, they just want to throw an exhaust on these things and that's their main accessory and they don't care about anything else. The exhaust, that stuff does burn off as far as where from the exhaust manifold. I've already checked mine before I went on this trip. My exhaust was burning off. The clips that hold the springs together on each side of the exhaust manifold, they were burning off, and that's what caused my bag to have a hole in it. So I had to have the whole exhaust manifold replaced. I did not do it myself. I didn't feel like doing it. I took it to the shop today. The shop did it. It took 10 days for the part to come in. And they did it obviously at a discount for me. So they replaced it for like $200, the exhaust manifold. So those things happen. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. You got to maintain the bike. I wanted to ride it out of town. In order to ride it out of town, I have to make sure it's up to par. Get in the comment section and let me know if there's anything else that you could think of that I forgot. Of course, I'm going to take a tool bag with me. My tool bag is going to have my air pump in it, my jump cable kit. It's going to have zip ties. It's going to have screwdrivers. It's going to have Allen wrenches. It's going to have star wrenches. It's going to have everything on it that you could think of. It is going to be on my bike. I'm going to take it with me along with the luggage. But just in case I break down or somebody else breaks down, I have to have the necessary tools with me to be able to fix the situation on the road, or we'll just throw it on one of the trailers and fix it when we get back. Get in the comment section. Of course, I'm going to check the speakers, right? Make sure you check your speakers. Make sure they're nice and tight. If they're not, get them nice and tight, because again, there's so much vibration with the bike. All these things on the bike, they loosen up. And if they loosen up, you could be riding down the expressway at 80 miles per hour, and next thing you know, your speaker goes flying off. Get in the comment section and let me know if that's ever happened to you. Has that ever happened where you've been riding and your darn speaker fell off? Hit that subscribe button for me right now. Most importantly, share the video. Other things I forgot to mention, I'm going to check the tire pressure on the Ryker. I'm going to check the tire pressure, and the tire pressure for the front tires needs to be 25 PSI. For the back tire, it needs to be 28. So before I go on a road trip, I'm going to check those things. Also, I am going to check the oil. Even though I just got an oil change, maybe I just did one like a month ago, and I've only put a couple of miles on it since then, I'm still going to go over to this side of the bike, and I'm going to check the oil on the bike just to make sure that I'm good to go. It's not low. If it is, I'm going to add some. So that is the complete setup of what you need to be checking on your bike before you go on a long road trip. Wish me luck tomorrow, me and my crew. The whole crew, we're going down. We're heading out first thing in the morning. Wish us luck. Shout out to Indy Threes. We coming down to your roundup. If you live in Indianapolis, please hit me up at capay@gmail.com. Tell me what restaurants to go to. If you have a three-wheeler, let me know if you're a fan of the page, of the channel, and I will link up with you while I'm down there. Let's talk about your bike. Let's ride. Hit me up at capay@gmail.com. Until next time, my friends, capay out.